And with that, we are back with Sound Goblin Storytime as we continue our playthrough of Paranormasight. We are chanted at by this harpsichord and children's choir. I'm, as always, Bograt.
I'm Travis.
I'm Shiv. And I'm Vincent.
Hunter, go ahead and talk again.
I'm talking.
Okay, it is picking up. It's just really low.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right, and we'll get right back into it. So when you start game, it just takes you right back to wherever your save was. So as you may recall, last time around, we started finding out about the 7, 9, possibly 15 mysteries of Hanjo. And our character
on fire.
got his hands on a curse stone, which we have used to great abandon. Right up until we came across somebody that we had no real way of dealing with and got our asses set on fire. Yeah, so this is just a reminder that Shogo Okia has no way of realizing it himself. So we have to react for him. I'm also probably going to use this real quick to just sort of demonstrate a thing. Because we're just going to kind of loop right back into this, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to intentionally get us killed again, just so we can show that a lot of times when stuff happens, the storyteller will get more and more explicit about telling you what you need to do. It's not every time. It's not always the case. But especially during this like prologue section, he definitely tends to handhold you a lot. Yeah, we're going to skip through this real quick because it's all stuff we've seen before. I'm pretty sure there is a skip button. I don't remember off for the life of me what the hell it is.
While we're clicking through this, I have a question that you may or may not know the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
So we turned off the voice volume to not die when the voice curse speaks.
The foot washing mansion.
I assume there are other cases, obviously, where the foot washing mansion curse will come up again. And, like, do we ever want to turn the voice back on so we know when the foot washing mansion's around, even though it would kill us? Or
there is never any benefit to hearing the voice of the foot washing mansion. As soon as you have heard the voice of the foot washing mansion, you are dead.
But I'm wondering a case of, like, if we just have it off all the time, is there information we would gain from knowing, like, the foot washing mansion around without being aware of the foot washing mansion because we have the volume off?
Not that I'm aware of.
Are there any other puzzles that involve the...
Not as far as I know.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, literally the only voice in this entire game is the voice of the washing mansion.
Like, my thought would be, like, there could be a case where, like, your character hears it and dies without ever recognizing that the user is around. And that's not information you would get if you had voice off, just turned off all the time.
Well, you can always not kill us.
The response I will give is in my previous playthrough of this game, I never turned voice back on. So if there is an instance of that, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, I was looking to see if there was an actual skip key, but there's not. There's an auto, but auto is not the same. Yeah, that is the best answer I can give to that question is I played the rest of the game with voice volume off because I realized very quickly, like, oh, we've got this far and literally nobody's had any voice lines, and the only reason I turned it off to beat that challenge. It doesn't get much more explicit here because this one is kind of fucking obvious, honestly.
You don't have that many things.
90s Pollution, we literally just threw that shit in the lake. What's up, bitch? Surprise!
I was like, would you have the option to do that at any point during the conversation? Can I get down to like one, then toss it and be like,
No,
what now?
No, you have to do it before you interact with her.
Okay. Oh, damn. You shaved me walk away now.
So turned her back, and that's good enough.
It is possibly my favorite part of this whole thing is when you get back here and you throw the lighter away and just instantly you turn her and she's like, why the fuck did you do that? And you're just like, sucks to suck. Why did you do that? I don't know. I just felt like it.
Even I was questioning, but it felt like the right thing to do.
Crystone is evolving.
Story time.
Storyteller's going to tell us about the story chart.
Old tutorial.
So now we get our general how to play instructions. Can play this game on the controller. It works fine, but
It's not a fast forward function.
oh yeah, press and hold the cancel button. Yeah. Problem is that it will skip all content, whether it's read or not. And this was updated with the story chart section. So completed chapters can be resumed from various points in the chapter. We'll see that in a minute when we get to that. The game will not return to a previous game state when resumed. If you return to the story chart by using suspend command that appears at certain points, it is the same as quitting and returning to the story chart. There are 2 phases that must be completed in a fully completed chapter. If a chapter is finished while there are still tasks to be done, the chapter will not dim and will remain lit up. So again, it's a great deal of learning information that we learn from various paths and then take into other paths. So do we remember?
Guy who would have shot us if we killed the girl who ran away. Killed the guy with the voice.
Oh yeah, 4. I forgot about the voice.
The very last thing we did was kill what's her name who ran away. We killed the guy who attacked us in the darkness. So 5.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Or maybe not.
0. He didn't kill anyone. First killed all of them. Or we did, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's gonna
Yeah,
be
we're
we-
controlling him, so we kill all of them.
So yeah, the thing to note is, as you can see here, things show up in sort of two different ways. There are ones that are grayed out and have like the full shatter effect on them. That means we have fully completed them. There's nothing else to be gained by going back to them. This includes also if we've seen all relevant information from a situation to apply to other storylines when we actually eventually get split storylines we can go to. They will remain lit up if there's still something for us to learn from it. However, once we have seen whatever it is we're supposed to learn from it, the game expects us to just remember it. Which again, the game has a pretty thorough note system, does record most of the relevant information we learn, and a lot of non-relevant information that we learn. So it really is a matter of sort of parsing those through. If it is brand new, it will just be fully lit up with an image. If it is something we have partially gone through, there will be cracks starting to form, but it will not be fully shattered.
All this information on Ice Knight isn't actually important.
Yep.
But I assume similar to like the previous story time games we've done and things like that, there will be information that we need to learn in certain paths to go back to other paths.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we go to one of these, we actually get given the option to either fully restart it from the very beginning or resume. And when we resume, it will actually give us
What point we want.
Fully to the beginning.
Yeah, we can start from the beginning if we resume. But we can also start from various points. So we're back here now.
Means we have to do something different.
Unless the event's here.
So this is where we get the option to do something differently. Because the last time around, we were like, oh, we should turn and look and see what the hell she's got her freaked out. And didn't have an option to do anything else. And this time, we know there's nothing there, even if Shogo doesn't.
So this branch only actually opens up by doing the rest of the tutorial.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now let's go to Kinchibori part 3, as opposed to Kinchibori part 3.
It's part
That's
3.
part 3 with a.
It's 3 feet. It's part 3 feet.
Really tripping there.
That's your black bile. Now it's 5 a.m.
Hey, we probably got our character killed.
And now the game begins.
Yep.
So those are the three actual protagonists of the game and the three storylines we will be following. All right, so who would we like to start with? Doesn't really make much of a difference. We'll be jumping between them all at various points, so.
I would say,
So Tetsuo?
yeah,
Yep.
that's
All right. So Tetsuo Tsutsumi, Chief Inspector of the Metropolitan Police Department, 1st Investigative Division, is investigating the mysterious death of a fellow officer. He visits the scene of the incident, the former Yasuda Gardens, with his subordinate, Junario.
small question. Is the layout of panels on the story art a timeline? of
Yes.
events?
Yes. It looks like each step is an hour. based
Roughly.
on Stuff we've seen before.
Yes, so this one and the high schoolers one do start 1 hour earlier than the housewife.
Okay.
Yeah, they do line up timeline-wise.
Hence why we were going through the prologue effectively. First, when it was 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. And we went back to the true thing, it was all skipped all the way to 5 past
Yeah.
everything else.
Actually, I'll take a look. I think it might even be. Yeah, you can see there's like the actual emblems across the top here indicating like the night and the day and all that.
Yep.
Yes, this one's starting at 11 p.m., which is before the cursed stones come into being because they all trigger at midnight, as we found out. Yeah, man, people are macabre as fuck.
Hell yeah.
True crime podcasts. People are weird, bad.
I mean, that is a very correct statement.
That's really popular.
As popular as Grand Slam. Real popular. Right?
High school girls are into spirit boards, apparently.
This actually has come up in like supernatural and stuff like that in Japan.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a
That's,
thing here, too. Ouija boards
yeah.
are fucked up.
Oh yeah.
If you believe in any of the occult stuff, Ouija boards are bad fucking news.
Yes.
Or if you're playing Phasmophobia.
Say goodbye.
June, shut the fuck up. So now we have a
He's an idiot.
thing about the spirit boards. Due to the occult craze, divination has become popular among young boys and girls. All one needs is a coin and a piece of paper with letters and numbers written on it. Using these, all one has to do is ask a question of the called upon spirit, and will move the coin and answer. Believed to be a tool that was adopted from Western spiritualism and molded by Japanese occult enthusiasts. Though it is considered a form of divination, the ritualistic nature of its usage can cause self-hypnosis or autosuggestion, leading to hallucinations or symptoms similar to spirit possession. Many schools banned these spirit boards after there were several cases of students sneaking into schools at night, in addition to stories of people having seizures when using the boards.
Not taking a selfie. Duck lips.
Ghosts didn't kill your partner, June.
Guy with a sheet.
Congo Jack when he
Blood diamonds. That time that you killed him and turned into a ghost.
I'm old, June. It's past my bedtime.
Detective looks like Dr. Venture and Dr. Ortiz to the few together.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this kind of lets us get some establishing information about what the backstory for this route is. Tells us a little bit more about the actual arc as well. The actual crime scene just been cleaned up, as he said. Kind of take a look around here. Look at the pond. Used to flow in the Sumida River, but they actually cut that off because the river became so fucking gross. Think. Talk to June. So they've been put on this specifically because it was death of an officer. However, it's not normally a thing that the investigation division would be called in on. And yet, for some reason, they're here. June starts trying to come up with nonsense, conspiracy theory bullshit. So the victim was Hajime Yoshimi of the Juvenile Division of the Sumida City Community Safety Bureau, which is it's their police force. June and the victim went to the academy together. He knew him pretty well. Now it'll be unfinished forever. So we get our profile on Hajime Yoshimi. It is established that he did not have a curse echo. It's not even a question mark in this instance. It is just straight up, no, he did not, because he died before they were distributed. Police officer within the Sumida City Community Safety Bureau was primarily responsible for juvenile and education cases. Held the rank of head patrol officer, entered the force at the same time as Junario. Found dead under mysterious circumstances at the former Yasta Gardens early in the morning yesterday. He was once a rebellious gang member himself, but he turned his life around and used his own experiences to connect with troubled youth as a police officer. While his appearance and demeanor suggest a man who was rough around the edges, he was a passionate, loyal, and caring man at heart, looked up to as a big brother by his peers. He achieved stellar results in his work with juvenile cases, but his consistently sloppy paperwork and less than formal attitude essentially doomed his career, had him writing formal apologies on the regular. He left behind a fiancée whom he had been dating since high school. If I die, you'll miss me more than anyone. Who are you? Like you're taking crazy pills.
He gets a cry for help.
This hypothetical, you're dead. You realize that, right? You won't be able to see my face.
So, no record of chronic illness, no visible wounds, but appears to have died from heart failure, possibly poison or drugs. Also, footprints belonging to an unidentified individual. All he had on him were his badge and his wallet. So it also probably wasn't a mugging or robbery. Also a skilled judoka. So if there was actually a physical altercation, they would have had to been pretty strong and probably well trained to take him on. Ah, shut the fuck up.
You, the guys at the station, Power Wolf.
Literally all we could talk about the occult with him. Originally from Kitasenju in Adachi City. Parents died off a long time ago. No siblings or anything. So yeah, 2 cases active involving juveniles. One was the suicide of a high school girl who jumped off a building in Kamizawa last week. Ichio Shiraishi, second-year student at Komagata High School. Apparently, Hajime had contact with her even before her suicide. The other case is also related to a Komagata High student. Hitomi Okuda is the leader of a group of delinquents. Been working with her for about 6 months. Met her on the day he died. Because of that coincidence, we have to consider something about his meeting with her had something to do with his death. We sure as fuck didn't hire you for your brains.
Hired him for his capacity to do duck lips.
Exactly.
Natural Instagram filter.
Ugh. Lot to look into. Stay here.
So here are the case notes regarding the death of Hajime Yoshimi. His body was found at the former Yasuda Gardens. His estimated time of death was 2 days prior at approximately 11 a.m. Cause of death was acute heart failure, cause unknown. Signs of a struggle were found at the scene. Efforts to locate witnesses are underway. Body was discovered by the groundskeeper. We are currently investigating the fiance of the deceased and 2 female students from Kamagata High School the deceased had contact with as persons of interest.
I think we had none checked. Look at him. Or go. I don't know.
I mean, we never actually looked at him, but just info about Jun, Sergeant. This is his first time leading a case. Sure, don't treat me like I'm your fucking hero.
God damn.
Yeah, I need to get me one of these curse thingies.
Curse stone nothing. I'm gonna drown this fucker in the pond.
I know, he slipped and fell in.
And my sidearm went off 14 times. I know it's only a 6-shooter. What's your fucking point?
So, Detective, now that I finally got you here, I'd like to talk to you about your car's extended warranty. God damn it.
Like I said, the hint of that would give me a heart attack. Yeah.
I don't even have a family.
My family is this middle finger and this other hand, curling into a fist to punch you. Any further fucking questions?
Alright, you can ask him out.
Also, he's not single, he's quantum. He's possibly in many places at once.
Look, they're trying to get a lot of people to kids. Issued you. So I guess back in the 80s wasn't that. Oh. That sounds like an often common thing for officers.
I mean, not just for police officers in Japan.
Eh,
It is a common police officer trope, though.
yeah.
Transferred out of the first because they kept partnering me with stupid young kids. Oh, well, I'm glad that's over. Yeah. Fucking sure.
Shut up. Like he's trying to get.
Not follow her around. Just build a walking eye and chase her.
I don't need to follow her around. If anything happens, I've got spares in the basement.
Exactly.
The Nejima murder, certainly not going to be an important, relevant plot point.
Well, easy. The guy was named Killer Man. He was wearing a mask. Star on it. That like Not Killer Man.
Never would suspect it.
Here we get our information about the Nejima murders. Notorious case from over 2 decades ago involving the murder of a female high school student. First came to the attention of the authorities when part of a human left hand was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Testing revealed it to belong to a missing female high school student. As it appeared to have been severed deliberately, the police launched a murder investigation. A large-scale search of the river was organized, but the highly polluted state of the river made this impossible. Visibility was poor, the stench was intense, and the divers quickly fell ill. They succeeded in recovering only the victim's head and what appeared to be part of her leg before the search was called off. At the time of the incident, the Sumida River was as polluted as it had ever been. Neither fish nor shellfish could survive in it, eventually causing the annual fireworks festival to be called off indefinitely. Over the course of the search, the police discovered a number of unidentified human bones. This caused a stir among the public, as several other young women had gone missing in recent years in the Tokyo area, and it was feared that they may have fallen victim to the same fate. Forensic technologies at the time, however, were not advanced enough to determine the identities of the deceased, and so the police were unable to open any inquiries. Due to the overwhelming lack of circumstantial evidence, the investigation ground to a halt until a hitherto unrelated individual came to its attention. During a question about a separate incident, Fumichika Nejima, a 36-year-old shop owner with no relation to the victim, divulged details about her that had never been released to the general public. An investigation into his background was conducted, leading to his arrest. Nejima testified that he had snatched his victim from the street and confined her in the underground storeroom of his shop, which also served as his living quarters. He chose her for no special reason, but simply decided she was an opportune target on seeing her walking alone at night. After keeping her locked up for several days, he restrained her, sewed her mouth shut, and severed her fingers and toes with a box cutter while she was still conscious. As she screamed silently behind her sealed lips, he proceeded to her wrists, her ankles, her elbows, her knees, working his way inwards slowly and methodically. His victim constantly wavered in and out of consciousness. Her ordeal continued until she died of blood loss. Nejima dismembered the rest of the body and disposed of it behind his home in the Sumida River before cleaning his storeroom and returning to his everyday routine as if nothing had happened. The brutality of his actions shocked the nation when they were eventually reported. Once apprehended, Nejima readily divulged the details of the murder, but was less willing to explain his motive. When asked, he would only break down in tears, saying, "I don't know what came over me. I know it was wrong." In the end, the police could extract nothing more from him than expressions of remorse. Although the efficiency of his methods strongly suggested that he had committed similar crimes in the past, no corroborating evidence ever came to light. Nejima was sentenced to life in prison at his first hearing. The sentence was imposed with no appeal from the defendant. Holy fuck!
What the hell? Don't die.
So we have gotten the Evergreen Beach. We can use it to kill those who intentionally try to mislead us. Once upon a time in North Okurabashi, beautiful beach tree. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so we know all this stuff previously. Now we get the actual resentful memory. He deceived us with his so-called rite of resurrection. The man who tricked the people with his false dark arts swings from a dark rope. They thought the man had escaped the previous night, but oddly enough, he was found hanging in the garden of the daimyo's mansion that morning. The man, a local named Jinkichi, was known for his kind temperament and skill in crafting Netsuke clasps. While his life wasn't always easy, he was optimistic, the type to smile through whatever life threw at him. He was the kind of man who would take care of those who didn't have anyone else to rely on. The prosperity that the ukiyo-e boom brought must have been what fanned the flames of his greed. The old craftsman was found in a miserable state, as if sentenced to some cruel fate. Perhaps he'd ended his own life, unable to bear the weight of his crime. But dead men tell no tales. The people thought of him as a bad man, even in death. He hung there for days, till his neck stretched horrifically, a vigil of pain still etched on his face. It was clear he must have struggled greatly as he died, his flesh marked with dark scars where the rope wrapped around his whole body. The beech tree's leaves do not fall, and neither did the man's body hanging from it, as the mansion's owner was not at home, another unfortunate event. The people held their tongues, fearing divine punishment, but the rumors persisted nonetheless. You ain't gonna like this shit, kid. So we've completed 11 p.m. with Tsutsumi. Now the question is, do we want to continue along that one, or do we want to hop into one of the other storylines?
Wouldn't mind actually. Yeah, go to Yako and just push everything at the same time or past it.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Fair enough. Yes, Yako Sakazaki searches for the rite of resurrection, hoping to revive her friend who jumped to her death. To get the information she needs, she meets with her classmate Mio Kurosuzu in their classroom at midnight to attempt using a spirit board. It's almost like we got a lot of relevant information to this one in the last one.
Yeah, go figure. Actually, it'd be even funnier if it was unrelated. It really looked like it was related.
That being said, I'm actually kind of glad we decided to go with this one because doing it this way should, I think, I don't remember if it's in the first or second one for this one, but should show us another mechanic thing.
Okay.
Yako is a student in Class 2C at Kamigata High School. She has one brother, Wacko, and a sister, Dot. Unable to comprehend why her childhood friend and classmate Michio Shiraishi committed suicide, she attempted to investigate the incident herself. However, she was unable to make any progress and, feeling desperate, invited transfer student Mio Kurosuzu to join her in performing a spirit board ritual. Born and raised in Honjo, Sumida City, Yako's family has owned and operated the beloved candy shop Sonoya since its establishment in the early Showa era. Despite her modest appearance, Yako is a cheerful and vivacious young woman with a sense of duty and compassion so strong that she is easily moved to tears. She's also a bit quick-tempered and quarrelsome, always prepared to stand up against those who harm her, family or friends. It is possible, however, that this readiness to fight is more driven by an innate love of chaos. Yako's winning streak against arrogant boys and scraps since she was a child remains unbroken and is a source of considerable stress for her mother.
This cannot be the original graphic.
It isn't. I mean, it's... for all intents and purposes, it is basically the same as the original graphic. It's the English alphabet rather than Japanese. Because it is literally hi, it, and then just a bunch of Japanese letters.
Yeah.
And the Torii Gate, which is very similar to what Hunter was alluding to earlier with the Phasmophobia Ouija board, wherein you have to say goodbye and end the connection with the spirit, or else you let the spirit through. The Torii Gate on Japanese-style spirit boards is intended much the same because it is what you pass through upon entering and leaving a shrine. So you have to return it to the Torii Gate when you are done, or else you let the spirit loose.
I'm sure our chaos love.
So it is worth noting there that you do actually have to click on the coin there to put your finger on it.
We also click on each letter to spell whatever the fuck we want.
No.
Ow.
Eat at those.
And I'm gonna look up the Banjo Kazooie.
We can fuck this up. We're not going to. It's not actually that interesting when you do. Basically, Mio just yells at you.
Please come on over.
Yeah, just... That's all it is. It does not, in fact, make any fucking weird shit happen.
Dang.
So there is a reason for that. It is not what Mio is saying here.
Oh, yeah, I know, because he doesn't know our name.
Uh-huh.
I'll laugh if it actually spelled out Gobberdin.
But yeah, if you actually ask the spirit, what is my name, it will not actually respond because it detects that there is both Yako and the inhabiting spirit in her and doesn't really know what the fuck to do. Oh, no, it missed. It said MIP.
In Nostrone. Right. I think one was...
What?
Psychic girl, Mio Kurosuzu. Mio transferred to Class 2C at Kamigata High School about 2 months ago. Although she's an extremely mild-mannered young woman, she exudes a somewhat off-putting dark aura, which makes it difficult for her to form friendships. Mio has, however, found a friend in her classmate Yako Sakazuki, and has begun opening up to her a little bit. The truth of the matter is that Mio is the apprentice of a famous psychic. Possessing exceptional spirit sense, she takes on the troublesome task of surreptitiously handling spiritual disturbances that break out in schools across Tokyo before they become a problem. She's got like at least a Moscow Mule, maybe even a vodka cranberry.
Oh, I forgot about that.
She transfers schools frequently as a result, and thus has trouble making human friends. Mio has already solved an incident at Kamigata High School involving a female student possessed by a spirit. Although she takes effort to hide her spirit sense, many develop an impression that Mio has a deep knowledge of the occult and the paranormal upon first meeting her, leading her to be anxious that her secrets have been exposed. The most common comment she receives is that she seems to get along well with crows and black cats. You're a witch!
We're not sure if she's a witch, though. She's just a test. I recommend we build a bridge on her.
Well,
Like, where are any of us, man? I think we are channeling a hippie.
fuck is a high school?
And I look like I'm about to misspell high school there. SCHO. Oh, no. Oh, two O's.
No, it just moved off
I
to
know,
go move
to
back
move
on
back
because it
on.
has to.
Ghost spell.
What is my name,
Clearly, high school
motherfucker?
somewhere you never went.
Say my name.
No.
Her name is No.
It would be good if it spelled out Gobbler instead. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's not like they inhabit the fucking piece of paper you idiots drew on.
Of course not. It is actually the piece of paper we drew on. We've given sapience. It is paper that hungers. It is death paper.
Blood. Here, you can take your finger off of it.
If she does, then Yako's just gonna make up whatever she wants.
You're fine. Winning lotto numbers. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, what?
Amazing. That's the same code as my locker.
Now we get the profile on Michio. She was a second-year student at Komagata High School. She was found deceased 1 week ago in a back alley off South Watagasui Street, her entire body broken and severely contorted. Police determined that Michio committed suicide by jumping from a nearby apartment building. As there was no suicide note, the police based their conclusion on interviews from Michio's peers. Michio was an honor student with a good head on her shoulders and consistently excellent grades, making her a favorite among the teachers. Although she appeared somewhat reserved, she had a positive outlook on life and a courageous spirit. Michio and Yako formed a lifelong, long-lasting friendship during childhood, with Yako's unbending, uncompromising attitude deeply influencing Michio. However, beneath her strong exterior, Michio had been pushing herself too hard and keeping her emotions bottled up to the point that they risked overflowing. Following her father's death 3 years ago and moving to a new house, Michio began avoiding Yako. Although the two remained in the same area of town and attended the same high school, they gradually grew further apart. Yako herself worried for her childhood friend, but, incapable of wading into the complexity of Michio's home life, kept her distance. The days passed, and though Michio longed to confess everything to Yako, the moment to do so never came. Michio carried an old talisman, a memento of her father, with her at all times. Just fucking said.
She did not die from a fall. She died from impacting the ground at a very high speed. Apparently this ghost is pedantic.
Yako possesses the Fool's Procession curse. Use it to kill those who hear the sound produced by the curse echo for more than 30 seconds. The effect will be negated if you are seen in that time. So the resentful memory we have here is Omio stood atop the tall festival tower. It was her time to shine, and she was ecstatic. It had been years since she joined the troupe, but she had yet to enjoy her day in the spotlight. She wasn't particularly pretty, nor was she all that talented. As a gossip and a loudmouth, she wasn't well liked by her peers. Some of the other girls thought of her as a teacher's pet and bullied her. I don't care about them, she thought. I'll use this chance to make something of myself. Everything was perfect. She wore a beautiful kimono and an okame mask over her face. The stage was set. The accompaniment began. She danced with everything she had. Applause rained down upon her from the crowd. Her breathing hastened with excitement. I've got to catch my breath. That's strange. I can't take my mask off. The smell of glue assaulted her nostrils. So that's how it is. I knew it was too good to be true. Her screams were drowned out by the music as she squirmed and struggled. Omio is giving it her all today. We have to keep up. The crowd livened even more. No, no, please someone help me. She fell from the tower, writhing in pain, as she begged those around her for help. The music stopped in time with Omio's heart. So among all the killing curses we run across, this one is one of the most pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It is definitely one of the more annoying triggers than like have them walk away from you or lie to you.
Or be carrying anything on them that can cause fire.
Entrap in darkness.
Make sure the voice volume is turned on.
All right, so now we have reached essentially even with all of them. We've gotten their curses.
Yeah.
Haruo, we don't actually have a earlier one. So what do we want to do now? Which one?
I'd say to see Haruo to see where her intro.
Yeah.
When the son of Haruo Shikima was kidnapped, a botched investigation by the police resulted in the child's murder. 1 year later, Haruo has hired a private investigator to help resolve the unsettled case. Late at night, while speaking to the detective at her home, something strange suddenly appears. Stranger than Richter.
Oh wow, straight to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why this one just starts here. Haunting clappers, you can use it to kill those with fire or a fire starting device on their person.
Here, hold this batch.
I mean, it's absolutely a strategy to like plant a cheap Bic lighter on somebody and then fuck them up.
Yeah.
Red, red, red. Everything is dyed crimson. My home is burning to the ground. It's hot, so hot. I must call for help, but I cannot speak. My throat must be burned up from the smoke. No, I think I'm already on fire. That's right, I'll just use the clappers. Clack, clack, is anybody there? Clack, clack, why is no one coming? I'm going to burn to death. How did it come to this? Oh, right, her. It must be the work of that vixen who appeared suddenly and enchanted my lord. That witch. Those hauntingly cold eyes had my lord dancing in the palm of her hand. Perhaps I was also taken in by her. How many innocent people did I lure in under her orders? This must be karma, the sound of a heavy bell. It feels like my head may split open. Ah, right, the evening bell. That must be why nobody can hear the sound of my clappers. I've got to do it louder. Clack, clack.
I gained the power to kill people, and it makes me happy.
Haruhi is a housewife who resides in the manor near the Shimoko Bridge. Her 11-year-old son, Shuichi, was kidnapped and murdered about a year ago. The death was a result of a mistake on the part of the detective assigned to the case, a mistake which enraged the kidnapper and had him cut off all contact with the police, leaving no room for negotiation. The incident was covered up, and Shuichi's killer remains at large, leading the aggrieved Haruhi to call on the services of private investigator Richter Kai to uncover the truth. The Shigema family came from a long line of samurai who built the residence in Honjo during the Edo period. They assumed important positions in the police force following the Meiji Revolution, thereby protecting their family's elevated status. Even today, many in the Shigema line work as police bureaucrats and senior police officers. Haruhi's father sits in the upper echelons of the National Police Agency, and her husband, adopted into the Shigema clan through an arranged marriage, is also a highly respected agency official. However, as her family prioritizes work above all else, it wasn't long before Haruhi's marriage grew cold. Though she wants for nothing, she is isolated from her neighbors and withdrawn from society. Seeing her son grow into a young man gave Haruhi a purpose in life, but it was cut short by the kidnapping incident. Following the incident, Haruhi spent many days in deep depression, breaking into sudden fits of shouting and wandering around in the middle of the night. Her cheerful, loving disposition faded away, and she took to making snide remarks at her husband, which only further soured their relationship. A few months ago, Haruhi's husband was transferred to another area for work and now rarely returns home, with Haruhi left to live in a large, empty mansion alone. As a housekeeper who has been with the family for a long time comes in to take care of all the housework, Haruhi had nothing but time on her hands. Head Hencho from way back in set number 1. The real collector's item. Nani the fuck? Talking birds.
Oh, we found a collectible.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
I don't know if these actually matter or not. I did not collect all 20 of them in my other playthrough. I don't really intend to collect all 20 in this one, but if I happen to see them, I will click on them because they're all pretty funny. Like, you do get little clues about where they are.
Yeah.
You get to see up close of the art on them, which is all pretty great from the ones I did find. Backseat of the like huge motorcycle thing.
Hell yeah.
Fax machine.
the ancient arcane device known as a fax machine.
Strictly the facts, man.
So rich they have a private line.
So as you can see, there's no actual general surroundings entry for this, which is kind of interesting, I guess, in its own way, but doesn't really have much relevancy.
Color television. Looks familiar. Oh,
It's a simple model.
certainly.
The eccentric man that Shogo Okia ran into at Honji Bridge. Richter is actually a private investigator with an office in Oda City, Tokyo. After taking on a request from Haruhi Shigema to investigate the unsolved kidnapping and murder of her son, he gets caught up in the events surrounding the Rite of Resurrection. Once a police officer, Richter was racked with guilt over the police's inability to help all those in need and quit the force to start his own private investigation firm. However, his soft-hearted nature leads him to take on too many cases and has put his office in dire financial straits. How he is still in business is a mystery, with some whispering that a wealthy patron is keeping him afloat. Richter studied alongside Detective Jun Ario at the police academy. So remember when
So
Jun
the
mentioned that there was somebody even weirder than him at the academy? He's talking about Richter Kai! Somewhat surprisingly, given his outlandish clothing and mannerisms, Richter excels at covert investigations and tailing his targets. He proudly refers to himself as an investigator extraordinaire, though that only ever succeeds at impressing himself. Richter's biggest source of happiness is nuzzling his pet female albino parakeet, Ernestine, which he keeps in his office. He also enjoys collecting mockingbird stickers, a popular line of merchandise featuring birds inexplicably dressed like delinquents, and can be frequently sighted searching around town for them. While out about, Richter typically leaves the office, and more importantly Ernestine, in the care of Amomori, a junior high schooler who volunteered to assist Richter after being involved in a previous case.
One thing I noted is part of his status is before it was question mark for whether he had a curse.
Yes, now we
Now
know
it's
he does
not.
not. Yes. Richter Kai's private investigation firm in Kamado City, the Azure Heron Agency. Originally, Kai thought to give it a simple name, like Kai's Detective Agency. But upon hearing that people are more likely to pick names listed at the front of the phone book alphabetically, he decided to pick a name starting with an A. Thus, the Azure Heron Agency was established. However, it is questionable whether the heron, a bird of somewhat ominous significance, is an effective symbol for attracting customers. Even his own assistant has referred to the name as confusing at best. After all, rather than an azure heron, Richter keeps a white parrot as a pet and dresses not in blue, but mostly in white. If there was a symbolic connection to be made here, it has surely been lost on all but Richter himself. A private investigator, also known as a private eye, is a detective who operates their own agency. Although there are no formal qualifications necessary to become a private investigator, many are retired police agents or detectives due to the similarities between the work involved. At a glance, private investigation firms and inquiry offices might look similar, but they carry out different types of investigations. Inquiry offices specialize in conducting credit checks on businesses, while private investigators are generally involved in tailing persons of interest and gaining information surreptitiously.
Thank you, dictionary.com.
The article, Cock and Ball Torture, from Wikipedia, the
Thank
free
you.
encyclopedia.
Thank you, Charlie the Bee.
But I didn't say anything.
That's fair. That does answer the question I was going to ask of how are you sure she's not just making shit up?
He's already aware of the cursed stones and other
Yep.
things going.
Well, he knew about the Rite of Resurrection. The Cursed Stones nobody really knew about, but then he literally saw it appear in her hands.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
immediate, like, okay, yeah, I believe it.
Maybe, but it's an implied similar events like similar to what's going on this night has happened before. Based on like Tetsu going, oh, this case, like clearly there's some previous connections to a previous night of
That's
curses or something.
not exactly. We'll find out more about that as we do more of Tsutsumi's storyline. Suffice to say, he's not just a first division detective.
Good times. I just had that craving.
If you kill someone, anyone who's carrying fire pulls out a lighter, puts it on the table. Okay, continue.
This is where we get to fill in backstory for Haruhi. So this is the information about the Shigema kidnapping. A kidnapping and murder case took place in Honjo, Sumida around 1 year ago. Haruhi Shigema's son, Shuichi, age 11, was kidnapped on his way home from school, with a ransom being demanded that same evening. Initially, the kidnapping was thought of as a simple extortion scheme, but when it came to light that the Shigema family was closely tied to the police, and Shuichi was in fact the grandson of a senior official, it was quickly assumed that the perpetrator was acting upon a grudge against the police force. Kidnapping was treated as a direct attack against the good name of the police, and a large-scale investigation was launched that used the best equipment available to trace phone calls. This made it all the more embarrassing when they were unable to catch the culprit, losing the public's confidence. The culprit grew cocky, relentlessly mocking the police force. After 3 days of failure after failure, Haruhi reached a breaking point. Spurred by concern for her son, she resolved to hand over the ransom money as fast as possible, but her husband and father, who held the prestige of the police in high regard, refused, saying that they would not let the criminal win by giving in to their demands. The increasingly frantic detective assigned to the case lost his temper when the criminal called to give them an ultimatum, causing the culprit to never make contact again. Another week passed, and Shuichi's body was found floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi's death could be largely ascribed to the police's incompetence, but this was ultimately covered up with stringent media embargoes. The investigation was never closed, but the case has long gone cold. Shuichi Shigema, the only son of Haruhi Shigema, he was kidnapped and murdered 1 year ago. His body was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi was a conscientious, brave young boy who was determined to protect his mother Haruhi amid his father's frequent absences. He dreamed of becoming a police officer and displayed diligence and an impressive sense of responsibility from a young age, likely due to being raised in an extremely strict environment. Born in the early 70s, he spent his days immersed in various activities and studies, including playing piano, learning the abacus, taking English lessons, and training in kendo. Shuichi's tendency to put other people's needs over his own meant he died without ever telling his classmates how much he longed for them all to go out on a hunt for mockingbird stickers. The calls were traced to northern Oyoko River. No more specific than that. He was abducted by car on his way home from school because the location they determined is very far from his route. But he wouldn't have gotten in a car with a stranger. Unlikely he was like, truly abducted. Because on his way home from school, there would have been other students around. Somebody would have noticed. A flashback. You want me to answer that?
Love good question.
Look like a pimp.
Yeah.
Archaeologist.
Movie archaeologists wear shirts.
Doesn't.
He has a shirt. It's just buttoned down.
No,
Richter.
Richter looks like he's at least 5 seconds away from explaining how his stand works.
I didn't want to make the Joe Star comment, but
He's so Joestar coded.
Pretty sure I actually said that last
Yeah,
time.
this has come up before. Not the first time.
Oddly enough, in a game where people effectively have killer stands, he doesn't have one.
So apparently, Michio Shiraishi is attempting to kill this guy. Question mark.
Girl who wrote Community. I don't
Yes.
know. Sus.
Keeping in mind, this is just a few hours before he is meeting with Harue on the same day that all the curse stones came into being,
Yep.
meaning that Michio has been dead.
Yeah, 2 days. A week up here.
A week. It was like a week ago. Because this is literally the same night that Yako is doing this, the day of the same night that Yako is doing the spirit board thing, to find out that it wasn't actually suicide.
In the spirit, it was an accident, not a suicide.
Correct.
Okay.
But it was an accident, not a suicide, and also it was not her accidentally falling off the building.
I'm guessing the accidentally.
The curses didn't exist.
Huh? Hey,
Curses didn't exist until midnight of this night.
Yeah.
Well, the cursed stones, at least. Curses technically always exist.
that face.
Yeah, and then I just let the pencil dick run off. Yeah, so that guy's a teacher at Komagata High School.
Then he should know that she's dead.
What makes you think he doesn't?
Yeah.
Think being dead stops curses?
Point. But asking someone to arrest a ghost, that's definitely a thing, I guess.
I don't know. If I saw Richter, I'd be at least 50% confident he could arrest a fucking ghost.
Or he could turn into a common rider and fight
Now,
one.
he's a private investigator. He's not allowed to arrest anyone.
That was the other
Gonna
thing. I
turn
was
into
thinking
Common
of.
Rider Skull.
He's gonna shoot a ghost.
Or kick it in the face.
Definitely kick it.
And it explodes.
A lot of this is information we've already gotten previously.
To be fair, you tried to pay the ransom.
The big butt.
Oh, more than just someone. Several someones.
Yeah, man. Technically speaking, you could theoretically get away with killing one person.
If
Yeah.
someone filled up the curse stone, you gotta kill them before they, did the right. Then you could theoretically get away with a physical kill.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't really care if they kill each other. I'm just not killing anybody or helping anybody kill anybody.
Yeah.
Don't burn people. How hard is this to understand?
Take stone fine. Kill people bad.
Heck, anything. Find out if you got a full soul, so they kill people. Cool. Beat the shit out of them. Take their stone, use it.
Yeah, one of them 7-ish mysteries of Hanjo.
Listen, man, numbers are hard.
What if it's a dress plan?
Yeah, it would suck if you had to like remain unseen for 30 seconds before it could activate or something.
They remain unseen while people are hearing an audible sound. For 30 seconds, remain unseen.
Fine, the audible sound is a dripping faucet.
Fucking drum beating. Hopefully they don't throw the lighter into a pond or something.
Yeah, only singe them. Wow. I could try to not kill you now.
Is that a fork in the scene, or
Not really. As you may have possibly picked up on, seeing as this is also an avenue that obviously Yako is involved in because she wants to resurrect Michio and find out what happened. And also Tsutsumi is involved in because one of the two cases that the dead cop was working on was Michio. All of these things are intertangled.
Yeah.
So if you tell them to continue investigating the kidnapping, it will all lead to the same place, just has slightly different like reasons as for why you're going various places or talking to certain people.
Yeah, that's kind of why I like the idea. All the strange stuff. It's very clear they will connect with each other.
I am going to get for too much longer. It is going to ask us to go down one path or another. We'll need information at the start of another path.
It doesn't necessarily ask us to. There are just definitely
That's going to be branches that occur.
dependent upon which order we do things in. It is entirely possible we will hit a choice where we actually can't make a choice because we don't have the information that would lead us to make that choice.
Yeah, on the thing, it'll be colored in,
Yeah.
so we know that there's stuff to either get there or do there.
Oh, it will be extremely obvious. When I say that we can't make the choice, I mean it will pop up like there is a choice, and one will be staticked out and not even have the words.
Oh, well, there you go.
Literally don't have the information.
Yeah, that is a thing that if we don't go, if we don't hit a certain point in one of the other paths first, that will actually happen on Yako's path. That is what I was talking about that we may run into as a mechanic if we continue down that one. It is worth noting there are also, while there is obviously a true, like, actual ending to all this, passing through all of it, there are also some other endings that occur in this off of branching paths.
Is there an actual optimal path where you backtracking?
Probably not.
At the very least, we had to backtrack once.
Well, I mean, prologue doesn't count. Prologue is you are locked in because you're locked in because it's teaching you the game. Once you're in the actual storylines, it's possible maybe, but I could probably sit down and plot it out if I really thought it through, but I don't know if it's 100% possible to never have to backtrack.
There is just the chance that we only learn information about certain things on paths where we effectively die, which would lead to game state.
Either die or a conversation topic pops up that gives you the ability to ask a question else.
Yeah. Like, there could easily be a case of A, a curse has an effect we just can't figure out, or B, talking with a curse bearer who gives us information only because he's blind that we can then use in the path. And he wouldn't have given up that information otherwise, but.
All right, and that is probably a good point for us to call it, because it's about 10 minutes to 4. And we've reached the end of that particular bit. So that's going to do it for us here on Sound Goblin Storytime as we're continuing our playthrough of Paranormasight, 7 Mysteries of Honjo. We'll be back tomorrow with more Pokemon ZA. On Thursday, we'll be starting an adventure in Kamurocho as Krampus will be kicking off his playthrough of the Like a Dragon, Yakuza, Ryaga Gotoku, whatever you want to call them, games. At the time, they'll be Yakuza, because it'll be Yakuza 0, and we'll retain the Yakuza title for quite a long while.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll be getting those kicked off starting on Thursday. And then we'll be right back here next Sunday with both the next instance of In Hindsight, where we're talking about the 4th edition DMG and Monster Manual, and also Sound Goblin Storytime as we continue to discover more of the mysteries of Honjo. Until then, I've been Bograt.
I've been Shiv.
I've been Hunter.
And I'm Vincent.
Have a good one, everyone.